guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. As you can see, today I'm not on my own. I'm here with the beautiful, the gorgeous, precious Fro, and I'm so excited to interview her today. This is the beginning of my series called Real Women, Real Talk, and she's the very first one I'm interviewing. As you guys know, I asked you guys, who do you want me to interview? And she was actually one of them. So I'm super excited to have her here today. Say hello, Precious.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Lovely. All right. So I don't want to prolong this video. I hope it's under an hour. So I'll get straight into the questions. We want to hear from you. Okay. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
Now, first things first. Let's keep it light. I just want to find out, when did you go natural?
Okay. I went natural in 2018. I actually went natural by accident because I was someone who was wearing lace wigs, weaves, back to back to back. I never had my natural hair out. My hair was always relaxed as a small child, me and my sister. So we didn't have a relationship with our natural hair. Long story short, one day I had like a mental breakdown and I shaved my head. But I had a lace wig coming in the mail, so nobody ever even saw my shaved head. I was just tired of dealing with my relaxed hair. I know, it sounds crazy. And so I was wearing my lace wigs, and over time, I started to see my new natural hair growing in, and it was the first time I really experienced it, where it wasn't just relaxed and damaged. And then after a while, I realized, wow, this actually might be like a thing. This might not look horrible. And I started to look at things on YouTube, and that was when I officially went natural in 2018.
That's wonderful. How about, I'm going to put you on the spot, but
yeah, I'm ready.
Can you tell us something funny or something interesting about yourself? Not natural hair related, doesn't have to be, can be, but
okay.
Take it
something away. Funny or interesting about myself. I am obsessed with Japanese culture. I like to think of myself as Black on the outside, Japanese on the inside.
Wow, really?
It sounds crazy. So I've been learning Japanese. I've been learning Japanese for about 2 years. I only watch Japanese shows. I am obsessed with anime. Japan is my favorite country in the world. I hope to retire there. Like, everything about Japanese culture, I love it. Like, intensely
obsessed. Where did that come from?
I think it came from, I used to watch a lot of Dragon Ball Z and like Sailor Moon, all these different anime cartoons when I was younger as a child. And then when I grew, the way that Japan looked in pictures always just looked so beautiful with the trees. And then when you learn about their culture, they're very, very big on respect, hospitality. They have a lot of concepts in their language that don't even completely translate to English that I find fascinating. And just the way that they are as a society, how safe they are, how advanced their technology, I'm obsessed. Yeah. So I guess that's my one theory.
That's amazing. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
What do you love the most about your hair?
Ooh. What I love the most about my hair is how the unique ability of it to defy gravity is my favorite. And I just feel like we don't see that in all hair types. That's something that is unique to our type of hair, type 4. And I know we live in a world where the silkier, the smoother, the straighter is usually seen as the most beautiful. But I like to think of it as God decided that my hair was going to grow up and out towards the sky, towards the heavens, towards him. And for me, that just, I feel such power when I think about that it's my favorite. It's the big fluff cloud of glory.
That's such a cool way to look at it. I've never even looked at it like that, but that's such a nice view of, your hair. And is that why you started a YouTube channel? Because, you just came, disappeared, and then you came back. So I'm like, what happened there? But tell us about YouTube. Why YouTube? Why did you go away, and what
Yeah.
are you doing there right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So YouTube, as you mentioned in the video that we recorded, I am also a student of YouTube University. And everything that I learned about my hair came from YouTube. And I'm so grateful to this platform because literally, if it wasn't for YouTube, I would not know how to do anything. But more important than the platform, I'm so grateful to the women who were brave and transparent and organized enough to go on this platform, years ago before there was even really a natural hair community and decide to share their journey because I grew up in an all white town. So I didn't have people around me to learn it from. So I was able to connect with these Black women showing me their hair in a way that I had never seen it before. And so after 4 or 5 years, when I realized I'm doing an okay job with my natural hair journey, I wanted to give back, but my faith is something that is very important to me, but also with my natural hair journey. And I feel that God used my natural hair journey to bring me closer to Him because I was kind of falling off the path as a Christian. And so I want to use my YouTube channel not as just a way to help other women with their natural hair, but also to potentially bring other women to Christ, because I think that is a calling and a purpose that He has put on my spirit. So I went away for it for a while because I got married and I was busy being a newlywed married woman, and I stopped keeping up with it. And I'm not even big on social media. Sometimes it can become a bit too toxic or you start comparing. And so I took a break away from it. But recently I had just this urge of you have to go back. Like, you're not done sharing. God wants you to share. Like, you have more than enough to share. You are keeping information that you have been blessed to learn to yourself, and that's selfish. And so I decided to come back, and I'm so happy to be back and connecting with my small community of people. It really is really joyful for me.
I want to hear a little bit more about that. Like, how do you sort of, I guess, marry the two, natural hair and God or your faith?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that and how you plan to sort of, I guess, empower other women in that regard.
Yeah, great question. I will try not to be too long because I could talk about this more for a long time.
Go for it.
Very. So for me, hair is not just hair. And I think that's the case for a lot of Black women. Our hair is so deep for us. It has so much history to it. And I grew up a lot of times looking at certain things in my life, certain adversities, as like God was punishing me. Like, God, you put me in an all white town where I can't relate to other people as a punishment. Like, all of these bad things. You gave me hair that no one else in my school has. They probably look at it like it's bad. It doesn't grow. It's always breaking. Like, why are you punishing me? Why do you hate me? Why are you doing all these bad things to me? That's how I viewed Him, and I viewed my hair. When I started to get into my natural hair journey and I started to realize this is a unique type of hair, it's like the story of talents. There's, for anyone who's watching who's not familiar, there's a parable of talents where God gave these individuals different talents and they were in a different amount. And what He wanted was all of them to take that talent and grow it, even though it was different. And I think that is how I should have been looking at my hair. My hair is different from what the world will tell me that it should be. And even though it may look like it's more difficult to manage or it's this or it's that, He gave me something unique and different that only He knows why He gave it to me. But my job and my focus should not be on thinking about how it's bad. It should be thinking on how to grow it, because He would only give something to me if He felt that I was worthy of growing that. And I am doing a disservice to Him and His creation to look at it like it's unworthy. And I haven't created anything. He has created our entire universe, our people who look different. He has created all of us in His image. So that means that there is a version of God that has the biggest afro that anyone has ever seen. And instead of me looking at that like I could aspire to be like Him, I am looking at it like it's something that is not deserving of love and praise and affection. And I think with our hair, there's so much like sacrifice sometimes of what we have to do with maybe we don't do certain hairstyles because it's not good for us, or maybe we're willing to put in more time. We have to really sow and then reap the benefits when it comes to our hair. Certain lessons that are throughout the Bible, but for whatever reason, when I saw those lessons presented in my natural hair journey, I was able to think like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice this time right now to take care of my hair. I should do that same thing for my physical health. I should sacrifice some time and focus on working out or maybe eating better. Or, okay, my hair looks different than what the world tells me to. There are other things in my Christian walk that would be different than what the world tells me to do. I should be sticking to what is natural, what is pure, what I think he is calling me to do. So all these different lessons that I was picking up in my hair, I was able to translate them into all these other aspects of my life as a Christian. And it strengthened my walk, and it strengthened me viewing him as a God who gave me something that I can handle because he trusted me to handle it. And it's a beautiful gift. And I should focus on that. And when you look at your adversities or your obstacles in life as a test or a gift, it changes your mindset, and it allows you to wake up every day focused and prepared to take on whatever is going to come your way, as opposed to living in a victim mindset, because that's a horrible way to live. That's the way I was living, hiding under lace wigs and weaves and not allowing myself to live up to my full potential. So yeah, I could talk about that forever, but that is, I would say, the main core of what I've been feeling.
Wow, I can tell this is such a passion of yours, and I truly appreciate it. I believe that we are created beings, and the Creator knows best, and is the best person to direct us where to go and how to behave and how to take care of our hair.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. However, I just want to ask you a question. I know you've got beautiful hair. I mean, we can see it. Ladies, this is her real hair. You style it so elegantly. You've got probably some of the most bizarre ways of looking after your hair, according to YouTube University, because
I love it.
Because some of the things that you do are not necessarily, what's acceptable or what's seen as proper natural hair care. And I'm going to get into those in a minute, but I just want to find out, what have been some of the challenges that you faced on this journey so far with your natural hair?
Honestly, it's funny. What you just said, I would say, is one of the biggest challenges. The experience of, I had to learn how to do my natural hair, and I had to learn how to do it and figure out which piece of information I wanted to listen to and which one I wanted to use as trial and error and which one I wanted to apply to myself. It can be very difficult with natural hair. If you don't have our type of hair, anywhere you look, you can look at an Herbal Essences commercial, and the way that they're washing their hair could be fine for your hair type. But if I just go into the shower and I do this with my hair loose, it's going to tangle, it's going to break. And so there were all these different voices in the beginning of my journey where some people said, do this, some people do this. And you can have two people who have complete opposite routines, but both have long, healthy hair. So trying to figure out which information am I going to trust because that person says it, versus which information, based off of my own logic, my own reasoning, my own experience, am I going to do, even though other people tell me that it's wrong and they're going to almost shame me for doing that? Am I going to be strong enough to stay my course and take a risk? Because in the beginning, you don't know if it's going to work or it's not going to work. There are things right now that I'm doing in my hair journey where maybe in 5 or 10 years, I'll say, looking back on it, maybe I should have done that. So to be able to go into it knowing that our journey is a lot of trial and error, it really is a journey where you have to pivot sometimes and be okay with that. That has been my biggest struggle, because I tend to overthink things a lot. Sometimes I can get caught up in too much research, and sometimes you just have to try something. You just have to try something and stick to it, and not change your routine every week because someone's grandma said you should do it this way and you're doing it wrong. Like that can be difficult, or that was difficult for me as someone who didn't have a foundation of natural hair, for sure.
Wow, that is amazing. It can be scary out here in YouTube streets when you're doing something different, something viewed as not the standard. Just someone that doesn't know, can you tell us a little bit about the characteristics of your hair? So tell us about your hair. What is it? And what style are we looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would consider myself to have type 4C hair. I know not everybody uses the hair typing chart. That can be controversial, but I use that word because I know other people, it might help them relate. So I have type 4C hair, meaning my hair strand is a very, very tight coil. I know there may be a couple sections in the back that are maybe 4B, but I would say predominantly it's type 4C. I would say I have medium density hair. I think that if I don't position my hair perfectly, it's going to look like I have no hair on my head. So I am not blessed with like natural 85 where it's just like a lion's mane of beautiful glory. No, I got medium to fine strands, and I need to take care of every single one of them if I want to have some fullness in my hair. I would say that my hair is very, very matte. It never has any shine to it, and that was a struggle because a lot of times, even on a product bottle, it will say, oh, this product is designed to help dull hair that's not shiny. And I think a lot of that language can be damaging because some of us will never have shiny hair, no matter how much oil we put on.
That's right.
So to think, oh, if my hair is dull, if it's matte, it means that it's unhealthy is such a lie. It's such a disgrace. So I had to learn that as well, that, you keep putting this Jamaican black castor oil on your hair, girl. It's not changing it. But yeah, I would say 4C, very matte, very medium density, very, very prone to tangling. I don't think I have very coarse strands. I would say it's on the more fine side.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. I definitely do have some of the characteristics that you've mentioned there with my own hair as well. And I just want to speak a little bit about the typing system, the hair typing system. I feel like maybe we've taken it a little bit too far in, how we take it or how we view it. And people are saying, don't use that language, and, oh, it's discriminatory, and you're isolating a group of people. And I'm like, is this the intended purpose of the typing system? Can you speak a little bit more to what the hair typing system is to you, or what it means to you, and what purpose you think that it serves, I guess?
Yeah, great question. I actually had a collaboration with another YouTuber who felt like the typing system was harmful to her because she felt like people would put her in a box and not want to connect with her because she has a looser curl pattern. So if she said, oh, I'm 4A or 3C, somebody else might be like, oh, you have easy hair. I can't connect with you. For me, the reason why I have been grateful for the typing system is because, similar to actually what I was talking about before with me having dull, matte looking hair, it allowed me to find women who had hair that looked like mine in a world where hair that looked like mine was oftentimes described as bad, ugly, unhealthy amongst our own community, not just non-Black people, but our own community would describe this type of hair as bad hair. So to be able to go onto YouTube and see, oh, 4C, 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 oh, what is this 4C? And then I would see the woman who had 4C, and I'd be like, oh, her hair responds like my hair. Her hair gets tangled very frequently like mine does. Oh, she doesn't wash her hair every day or every week like I do. Like, they had things that were in common to me. So for me, the only reason why I think it can be beneficial is that there are certain hair types under type 4 that do not have as much representation as others. Even though things have been changing, when I look at brands or products, still to this day, it's usually the women who have looser or very, very, very big density hair that they are spotlighting. But oftentimes 4C, I don't see that as frequently. So for us to be able to find one another and connect, for me, with not having any, knowledge in the natural hair community, that's why it was helpful. But I do agree that sometimes people can use it in a way that is ugly. I mean, anything in life can be twisted and perverted into something that is bad, which is unfortunate. But for me, it's just to try to help other people who have my hair type.
Okay. I have to agree. Everything that you've said, I actually agree with, because I mean, at this present day, you can't really say 4C, 4B anymore without getting one comment or two or 20 of someone says, stop using that typing lingo or language.
Yeah.
And I actually had to educate myself a little bit more about this, because I went into research a little bit. I understand that there is a certain, I guess, aspect where back in the day, during slavery and that era, some of the typing and the segregation that happened used to happen based on what type of hair you have, and the type of hair or the characteristics of your hair would automatically put you in a certain group that was probably not as desired. However, this current hair typing system that we're talking about, the one that Andrew Walker started, it's really solely based on just identifying the characteristics of a particular hair type. And a lot of people say, oh, it's not exhaustive and it doesn't include all the characteristics of my hair. However, it's not supposed to be. I believe he's actually improved it over the years, because people have said, oh, I don't feel included, he didn't include this. But if you look at the purpose of it, it's just to say classify this as that. Of course, within that group, you will have variation and within 3C and within 2C. And I wonder if the hair typing system is an issue to us because it sort of magnifies the difference that we are. Not that the difference is bad, but it's almost like we want to kind of relate to what we're not naturally supposed to relate, and the hair typing system really puts you in a certain category, and women don't like that. Or if it's the fact that it's forcing, kinkier textures are at the bottom of the list and type 1 is at the beginning. So if we were to reverse it, like, would we feel more comfortable about it? I just feel like it's been made bigger than it's supposed to be. It's really just a guide, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. And something that I will also say in relation to YouTube, and this may be controversial, but I'm going to say it. I think that some people on YouTube, if you put in 4C or, especially 4C, people, because that's a lot of Black women, that's a lot of the demographic have that type of hair. People will use that lingo to potentially get more views. The problem is, especially earlier on in my natural hair community, there were women who maybe they knew or maybe they didn't know, I'm not sure what their intention was, who didn't have type 4C hair, but were using that terminology, I think, to get more views. So sometimes I wonder, do you not want to say what your hair type is because you think if you tell someone I am 4A or I'm 3C, but you are telling certain hair practices that might not be applicable to a 4C person, they may not watch you anymore. So you want to stay away from the categorization to be able to keep everyone watching you. And I think that's unfair, because there are things that I think a 4A or a 3C person will do with their hair that I cannot do with my hair, that it would not be healthy for me. I do think that the looser your curl pattern is, the easier time you will have with detangling with a brush or a comb, for example. So if I'm watching you and I think we have the same hair type and you may not experience as much damage with a brush and a comb, and you say, girl, keep using the brush or the comb, and I use that, it's not going to help me with my particular hair type. You know what I mean? So that's why I like it. I really think that there are differences. Yes, there are things that we can all connect on. We have a collective ability to connect on certain parts of our journey, but different hair types I do think require a different hair practice. There's nothing wrong with that. But to be able to really hone in on what works best for you, sometimes it's helpful if I know you actually have my type of hair. Oh, and I forgot to answer the other part of your question. The hairstyle that I currently have in is a twisted bob. I'm trying these new hairstyles right now because I'm in a hair challenge. And so it's my natural hair that I twisted up into a bob hairstyle to try to keep it off of my shoulders and protect it. And I'm really enjoying it. Thank you.
Oh, I'm enjoying looking at it. I'm just like, what is that? Nice. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Listen, we've spoken a little bit about the hair type thing, and I just wanted to get a little bit into your routine because I feel like that's where we're going to spend quite a bit of time because, like I said, you've got some, yes, interesting ways of looking after your hair. So let's start with the cleansing. Tell us about how you cleanse your hair, how often you cleanse your hair, and with what and why.
Awesome. Okay. So my cleansing routine is going to be changing, but before I I could go months without washing my hair. But let me specify, because I would wear my hair in braids, just braids, and I would take out that braided hairstyle and I would put in braids back to back to back. So when I have braids in, I am washing my hair maybe once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on maybe if it's summertime, if I feel like my scalp is producing more oil, if I'm exercising a lot, then I might do twice a month when I had my braids in, but never more than that. And it was usually once a month. But when I was washing my hair like that, I'm washing my hair in the protective style. So I'm really just washing my scalp. My actual hair, maybe twice a year would I take out the braids and actually wash my hair strands. And to some people, they would think that is crazy and horrible. But the thing is, I believe that manipulation, how you manage your hair, how much you can minimize playing with your hair will be the biggest factor to whether or not you're able to retain hair length more than frequency of washing your scalp. That's just my belief. I'm not saying someone's wrong if they disagree, but that's my... Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
So are you saying that when your hair doesn't have any extensions in it, as in you don't have any added hair or braids in it, and you just have your natural hair, you wash it twice a year?
Oh, no. I'm saying when I have my hair in braided extensions and I take the braided extensions out, my actual hair strands, I would wash my hair strands twice a year. When I have the hair in the protective style, I'm washing that usually once a month. That was when I was doing my braids, which is what I've done for most of my natural hair journey.
All right.
Does that make sense?
All right. I get it. So you've been wearing braids for the most of your journey.
Exactly. So that's
what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So that's why I was saying that my hair cleansing method, though, is now going to be different because I'm wearing my hair out more often like this. I've never done this before. This is the first time. And I'm not allowed to wear braids until July because I'm doing a no added hair extension hair challenge for me because I did it too much. I need to take a break and do something different. So what I think I'm going to do now, and I'm kind of scared because I've never done it before, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try to wash my hair twice a month in like a loose twist like this. So every 2 weeks I'm going to wash it, but I'm going to wash it in the twist and I'm going to see because for me, it still feels like it's a lot and I'm not used to that kind of manipulation. So I'm going to do my best to not take out the twist and leave it and let it air dry, or maybe I'll blow dry it with the Reverse. I'm not going to take out the twist and manipulate it like that. So I'm going to see how that goes, if I experience a lot of matting or what the experience is. But I don't know yet what it will look like. Yeah, but that's going to be my routine.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who would say that's infrequent or that is, dirty? Because a lot of people would say to me, I wash my hair once a month. And some people say it stinks and you stink pretty much. And that is unhygienic and stop, like people, like you're gonna make your subscribers lose their hair.
Oh my goodness.
What would you say to someone that is like questioning that?
First of all, what I would say is, number one, I am married to a man who has to sleep next to me every night, and he has never once told me that I smell. That's number one. So that's my proof. I also go to a job where I work in an office with other people who have actually told me that my hair smells good. They have never said that my hair smells. That's number two. So my point is, we think, oh, you're gonna smell, but in reality, in real life, I don't think that is true based off of my experience. But also, a lot of the hair practices that we are taught are from Eurocentric hair practices that we have not taken the time. I'm going to trigger some people, but that's
Speak on
okay.
it.
We have not taken the time
You
to
are?
sit down and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Where did this come from? We do things because they told us to do it that way. People who have straighter hair or people of Caucasian descent have a different sebum oil production in their scalp, right, than we do. And because their hair is straighter, the oil is going to glide down the hair strands way easier than our hair. Let's think about our hair routine. When I'm looking at my white friends and they say, oh, I have to wash my hair. Why do you have to wash your hair? Because it looks oily. It looks greasy. I can look at their scalp and I can see what they mean, how their hair looks greasy. Ask yourself, when was the last time you looked at your hair and you thought it looked greasy? You thought it looked too oily.
Unless you put oil on it.
We are the ones who are putting oil into our
We want
hair.
the oil.
We put it into our hair because our hair, by nature, in comparison to other hair types, is drier. So if we know that logically,
That's right.
why would we ever think that our hair washing frequency should be the same as someone who is? It makes no sense. No sense. But oftentimes people, we do things that we're taught. We don't think about why we're doing them. And then we shame other people. I'm sorry. I do not think that our hair type is meant to be washed, in my opinion, even weekly, but that's up to each person. Everyone has a different scalp. Everyone has a different, situation that they need to take care of. But to make someone feel like your hair isn't going to grow because you're washing it monthly. I've been able to go sometimes even 2 or 3 months without washing my hair, and my hair has grown beautifully. I think also people discount their own experience. So if I've experienced something for myself, you can say whatever you want to say. I'm going to believe what I have seen in my own life. And when I look at other natural haired women, even someone like yourself, I know that you don't wash your hair weekly, and I see your hair. So I know that it's not just me. I know it's something that works for multiple people. And I think that's part of this natural hair journey. You have to strengthen yourself from the people who will criticize you and decide what you're willing to take a risk on.
Yeah, and it's not just you and me, it's indigenous strands, it's naturally high, it's green beauty, it's there's a lot of naturals that have this way of looking after their hair. And we all can't be out here smelling like sour milk. And to be honest, I agree with you. The sebum production's different, the lifestyle's different, the texture's different. There's things that you can actually do and implement to cleanse your scalp that doesn't need washing if that's not what you're wanting to do, because the cleansing of the hair comes with a lot of manipulation. Anyway, I just want to move forward from there and ask, do you deep condition your hair with every wash or shampoo?
100%. Yes, I do. Because just washing it will leave my hair feeling very dry, and not just dry. It will give me that like squeaky clean feeling. And when it feels squeaky clean and I don't put deep conditioner in it, it's going to be more difficult for me then to manage it after when it comes to detangling it. Like it's just going to be matted. So I can't even process the thought of not putting deep conditioner in my hair. Like my hair is thirsty. It needs to drink. It needs like oils and water to hydrate and moisturize. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And how often would you moisturize then after that? And between washes, I guess what I'm asking is, how often are you moisturizing your hair?
I see. So that is something that I think I've been being a bad girl about historically, if I'm being honest, because I've been bad. I actually even thought about this when I watched your video about hydration. I was like, ooh, Precious, you've been bad girl. Because when I have my braids, I would wash my hair, I would condition it, I would leave it. I might put some oil in it, I would leave it. I wouldn't add any water or moisture in my hair until the next time it was time to wash my hair, usually for a month. And I'm really now understanding like the importance of moisture in the hair, even when it's in a protective style, is so huge. And I think that if I had done more of that, it would have been helpful for my hair. I think the only reason why my hair hasn't completely broken off is because it was in a protective style. But with my hair out, I am way more mindful of that. So with this hairstyle, for example, I am I am re-moisturizing my hair once a week. So what I do is I take my spray bottle, I spray it with warm water. Sometimes I will do like a baggy method and blow dry it to try to allow my hair cuticles to open up because I have low porosity hair.
Yeah,
it's difficult for me to get
moisture, yeah.
to it. Yes. And then after that, I will seal it in with an oil blend that I'm using. So I'm getting into the routine of trying to do that once a week. But historically, I've been a bad natural when it comes to moisture.
Honestly, I really appreciate you actually owning up and saying, look, there's this part of my routine that is not perfect. Because I think sometimes people think, oh, these guys think they've got it all figured out, or, you know, you've got a perfect routine. I believe that it is a journey, which means that you learn, you unlearn, you include, you subtract, and you continue to grow and build and improve on your journey. So thanks for the transparency. I believe, you know, that more of us should actually come out here and talk about some of these things that are not as perfect in our routine, so that a lot of those struggling naturals can also relate that they're not the only ones struggling, right?
Oh yeah, I struggle. I definitely struggle.
Yeah. Can we talk about products?
Yeah.
What is your view? Yeah, what's your view on products? What kind of products do you reckon, or do you think that are the non-negotiables, I guess, in someone's routine, and which ones do you sort of use yourself?
Products. I've wasted a lot of money. I've wasted a lot of money in my natural hair journey. I'm going to be honest with you. Oh boy, because in the beginning, I really thought like, if I just find the perfect conditioner, my hair is going to grow overnight. And sometimes people on YouTube, they just be lying to us about, oh, my hair grew 2 inches in 1 month. And I'm like, come on. It's not true. It's impossible. I think that we should have a simple hair routine when it comes to products. I think that some of these companies, I'm sorry, companies, I think some of you guys are trying to scam us, making us believe that we need like a 6-step hair process, and it's all marketing. It's all just capitalism. I think that what is a non-negotiable is some type of cleanser, some type of deep conditioner, and some type of oil. To me, those are the only 3 that you need. I think that you can have a butter if you want to, if you feel like it gives you extra moisture, or you like the way it may look on a twist out, then you can as like a styling tool. But in regards to what my hair needs to stay alive, a cleanser, a deep conditioner, and an oil. I don't need to have anything more than that. And I don't need to use, in my opinion, a lot of that product. So I don't oftentimes repurchase products frequently, because I can buy a bottle and it will last me for such a long time, especially on a shampoo. I'm not using a lot of shampoo. It's such a small amount. I mean, with my new hair routine of doing it bi-weekly, I know that I'll be using more of it. But there are so many hair products that I purchased that are sitting in my cabinet because I didn't use them. And then I would see a new commercial of, this is the new best product, you have to buy it. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy it. And now it just stays in my routine. And so something that I'm also going to be doing this year in 2024 is branching out into a lot of DIY, because I've lost a lot of trust with companies and their products, reformulating things, putting things into it that I just don't know what it is or what the purpose of it is in my hair. So I want to really learn how to care for my hair naturally and figure out what would my ancestors or people, back in the day use, because we have so many herbs and oils that are so beneficial to our hair that we overlook, and it's already there. God already created, I think, everything that we need from the earth. And so I'm going on a journey in 2024 of learning the different oils, the different Ayurvedic herbs to really help my hair flourish. And I think that it's going to help me grow my hair more than I was able to ever before. But yeah, that's my philosophy on products right now.
All right. So there's 2 things that I know you to be quote unquote controversial for, because I think I am a part of that class as well.
Okay.
And the two of those things are that you don't use combs on your hair, you pretty much finger detangle, and also you don't trim your hair. So let's start with the less controversial one, which I think is combs, like not detangling with combs and brushes. Can you tell us how you detangle your hair and how you remove shed hairs and why you don't use combs and brushes?
Yeah, let's do it. So combs and brushes are the enemy to me. Literally, they are my arch nemesis. I don't even want, when I see them in the store, I just don't even look at them because they make me angry. Really. Because I can't believe that we, I could talk about this all day. I get so fired up. I don't even know where to begin. So first of all, how I detangle my hair. I detangle my hair with my fingers only. Why? Because our hair, the way that it tangles up, it's like a knot. It's like a shoelace. It's so intricate. And the knots that entangles that it can make can be so small. And our hair strands are so fragile. So the concept that I will take a tool where the actual teeth on this comb oftentimes are bigger than my hair strand. How in the world can something that has teeth that are bigger than my hair strand detangle a knot that is smaller than the teeth on the comb? It's impossible. But what we do when we're combing our hair, we think, okay, if I can get the comb through my hair like that, it means it was detangled. It didn't detangle it. It broke your hair strands and allowed you to put a comb through your hair. And the reason why it makes me so angry is because this, again, is a hair practice that is for people who are different from us. It's a Eurocentric hair practice. If you have a different hair type, of course you should be able to get a comb through your hair. That's great for you. But the expectation that I should be able to do that as well is so crazy to me. I can't even understand that we still believe that. And what makes me even angrier is when I see a hairstylist using a comb or a brush on their client's hair and they're going over and over and over again. And then you see the hair strands falling to the ground and nobody says anything. Like, no, girl, you don't see what's happening? Look at the ground. Look at the hair that is on the ground. Pick up a few of those strands, look at them under a light, and tell me, do you see a white bulb at the end? No. Okay, if you don't see a white bulb, then that is not shed hair. That is hair breakage. And most hairstylists, I understand it would take very, very long for a hairstylist to finger detangle your hair. So to make it more efficient for them, they comb. And then they tell you, oh, if you have a problem with combs, it's because you have to trim your hair or it's because you have to use a conditioner. Really? Because when your hair is wet, it is at its weakest point when you're brushing it. It actually is more prone to breakage, but because you have conditioner, it feels like it's gliding through smoother. But then look at what is in your hairbrush. Pull out the hair strands in the hairbrush, bring them out, dry them, look at them, and take the time to categorize broken hair strand and shed hair. And now look at those piles of hair and think about, if I do this routine every week, how much damage am I then causing to my hair over a long period of time? You may not feel it in just one session, but it's little bit by little bit, it's breaking it. And then you look at your hair and you think the ends look jagged because you need a trim. And then I'm not going to get into the trimming thing, but that's my issue. I don't think that a comb is designed to comb. I don't care if it's the Felicia leather, whatever. I don't care if it's a tangle, you know what. You can call it whatever magic spell name you want to call it. With all due respect, no. There is no way that will ever be able to detangle a hair strand the way that I can as a human being. So if even I break strands sometimes when I'm detangling it, me taking my time where I can see stuff, if I sometimes break strands, how can a comb break less hair strands than me? It's impossible. But I know that everyone feels differently, so they'll do their own thing, but not in my house.
Yeah, I I feel like say no more. Like there's nothing else to add. You've said it all, and I agree. And I I have recently had a setback using a brush that I thought, oh, it really detangled my hair and it did a good job and what have you. But by the end of the protective style that I was trying to do from the brush, like the reason I was brushing my hair was to put it in a protective style, and it ended up breaking my hair, single strand knot, split end galore. And I said to myself, well, I'm just going to use the comb once a year. And
yeah,
if you think about it, it only takes once to set you back. Like at this point, I actually know that each time I use a comb, I'm setting myself back. And it's a hard concept and a difficult concept and a new concept for a lot of naturals, including myself, to accept. But look, there's a lot of YouTubers that have shown us the evidence of eliminating combs and brushes in their routine. So I guess if long hair is not a goal of yours, or you don't mind thinning hair, or you don't mind the damage that comes with combing, then I guess you can continue. But to people that truly want to grow thick, long hair, not that you can't grow it other ways, but the best way to actually do it is to finger detangle and eliminate those combs and brushes. And you've already started talking about the trimming, so go straight into it and tell us why you're breaking the rule of trimming your hair. We need to know, because I was told that trimming your hair grows your hair.
It sure does, doesn't it? Okay, trimming. Yeah, this one, it's so funny. When I posted my video, I was not expecting some people to be so, I don't know what it is about trimming, but it really angers people when you tell them that you don't trim your hair. So the reason why I don't trim, that thing that you just said of, I was told trimming grows your hair, I was also told that. And so I thought that was what we should do. And it never made sense to me, because on average for me, my hair grows about 1/4 of an inch per month for me. I know some people can do like 1/2 inch. I'm just 1/4 of an inch. So the idea that I, who is someone trying to grow long hair, that I should be cutting my hair frequently. I hear people say every 6 weeks, sometimes every 3 months, sometimes 6 months, whatever the duration is, that is going to largely, common sense would tell me it's going to largely slow down my ability to, one, be able to grow my hair. That was one reason why I had an issue with it. The second is, I don't think that people have taken the time to really learn how our hair grows naturally and separate what is healthy versus what is an aesthetic. Because a hairstylist will tell you that you shouldn't have tapered ends. Your ends should not go like this, ever. It should go like that. But when you look at data, real scientific data of how our hair grows in our scalp, our hair is growing at a different length all the time throughout our life. And different sections of our hair will grow at different speeds. My nape, for example, will always grow slower than maybe this part of my hair right here. And I've seen that with other women as well, where they talk about different parts of their hair growing at a different speed. So if your hair is naturally always going to grow at a different speed, how does it logically make sense that having ends that are tapered is bad or unhealthy? And okay, let's pretend for a second if that's true. Okay, let's say you go and get a haircut. It's blunt. If that is health and there's nothing wrong with getting, trims and brushes and all of that, then how come when you get that hairstyle and a blunt haircut and you put it into a protective style where you're not touching it, and then a few months later you take it out, how come you still see ends that are becoming a tapered shape again, even though you got it cut in a blunt way? It's because your hair is always going to grow like that. So if your hair is always going to grow like that, it's going to be a constant battle of you telling yourself that that is unhealthy. And to me, that mindset of telling yourself that tapered ends is unhealthy, that in itself is unhealthy. This is a natural hair journey, and natural is not just the texture. Natural is also, how does your hair grow naturally? Your hair does not want to grow blunt naturally, ever. And a lot of hairstylists are not going to like what I'm about to say. So I'm sorry, cover your ears if you don't want to hear it. But a hairstylist's job is to keep you in their chair, to keep you coming to their shop on a frequent, scheduled basis. So of course, if it's my livelihood for you to believe that you need to have a trim every 3 months, and if you don't, your whole life is going to fall apart, I'm your savior. Come to me every few months. I will help you, girl. I'll cut your hair. Why would they ever tell you the opposite then? They literally survive with you going to see them, with you believing that you need them to cut your hair every few months. I'm sorry. I know people, we don't want to talk about that part. It's uncomfortable. And all hairstylists are not bad. I'm not saying that. But that is a reality. If I was talking about how combing is great for your hair, and I have a company that sells combs and brushes, don't we think there's a connection in that? Like, we have to think about things sometimes that sometimes even people in our own community, even if they have our same hair color, they might have a different intention or incentive of telling you a certain story about your hair. They don't want you. I've heard hairstylists say that you are not able to assess your own hair. That as an individual, you should not be able to look in the mirror and figure out whether or not your hair is in good condition. That you should go to a hairstylist. What? That I don't have the ability to decide for myself whether or not my hair is healthy and what type of hair practice I want to have for myself. You're trying to take away my power, and I will not allow you to do that. If you want to go and see a hairstylist because you believe in them and they help you and you believe in their trimming, by all means, go and do that. And if you want to have a blunt hairstyle because you want it, you think it looks good, of course, go and do that. But for someone to tell you that your hair is not healthy unless it looks freshly trimmed is wrong. I would say even borderline evil, because I don't trust your intention, but maybe that's too harsh. I don't know. But that's the main reason why. It's because I am trying to embrace all aspects of the word natural when it comes to our natural hair community. And for some reason in the Black community, trimming, it's like a fight. Whereas other ethnic groups, there's not that same type of pressure. But here we put a lot of shame on other women if we think that they are, like you said, breaking a rule. And I don't understand where that comes from. We should all be allowed to decide what is right for us. If you don't like the way that my hair looks and it looks damaged and thin and whatever, you are entitled to your opinion. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to allow your opinion or your hair practice to influence what I do for my own. And what I really want to do on my YouTube channel is empower other women to take back your power in deciding what you want your natural hair to be. If you don't want to trim it, that's fine. If you want to trim it, that's fine. But don't go and shame another woman just because she doesn't have the same hair philosophy that you do.
So what would you say to someone who says, yeah, no, that is, you've actually taught me some things that I didn't know, because it's actually important when you start to think about these things that you have a different perspective. But I was just going to ask, what would you say to someone that says, okay, I've got split ends and maybe single strand knots, for example. So I need to trim my hair because I trim my hair because I cannot stand single strand knots or split ends. So I trim my hair. I don't trim my hair on a routine or every 3 months, but I do the certain destroy method where I actually look for stuff, the damage and clip it off. But what would you say to that?
So I would say in regards to your hair, you have to decide what is acceptable in your hair. So for example, I know for some women, they won't even think about not using a comb or a brush because for them, it's unacceptable to not have fully detangled hair. So when you talk about single strand knots or split ends, for some women, it's unacceptable to have a certain amount of single strand knots or split ends. For me, I've used single strand knots first as something that is characteristic to my hair type. No matter what I do, unless I were to try to straighten my hair every day, no matter what I do, my hair is going to create single strand knots. And there are things that I can do to minimize how often that happens, but I've accepted it as a part of my hair. So if I'm touching my hair and I feel a single strand knot, I don't freak out. It's not the end of the world to me. If I'm doing a hairstyle and that knot may be in the way of me, parting a section or doing something, then I'll grab a pair of scissors and I'll cut out that one single strand knot. But I don't do the search and destroy method because I feel like I could do that every day. Every day I could sit down with scissors and find things in my hair that I could cut out. So where does it end? I don't want to bring anxiety to my life or to my mindset. And in regards to split ends, as someone who has not trimmed my hair in over 5 years, do I have some split ends in my hair? Yeah, of course. But do I have the kind of split ends that people talk about? I've heard people say like a split end that can travel throughout the entire shaft of hair, or the split end will go all the way up, or you'll see it kind of like feathering. I haven't seen that in my hair. But let's pretend right now I was wrong, and I have all of those kinds of split ends throughout all of my hair. Would I cut my hair? No, I wouldn't care. Why? Because for me, and this is going to sound crazy, for me, at the end of the day, if I like the way that my hair looks, and if I like the lifestyle and the mindset that I have with my hair, that is it. If you, a scientist from hairuniversity.com, were to say, Precious, we assessed your hair and it looks like you get a letter F, fail, horrible hair, I would say thank you, but I'm not going to change anything because I like my hair. I think it looks good. People tell me it looks good. I like the way it feels, so that's it for me. So I think it's up to each person to decide, what does healthy mean for you? If healthy means no split ends, then go ahead, cut them. But if it means you can have some split ends, you can have some single strand knots, then whatever your level is of comfortability, you have to decide that for yourself.
Wow. So interesting you say that, because I think there's a lot of pressure for us to fit into one box when it comes to daycare. Let's only do this, and this is what's the rules that we know already. But you're right. I believe that you know, at the end of the day, what do you like? What works for you? What is fitting your lifestyle? What do you enjoy about your hair? Is because I remember when I big chopped my hair, I immediately regretted it. Like some 7 years ago, I'm like, why did I cut my hair? Why did I cut my hair again? Like, it was not that serious. But everybody was chopping, big chopping and starting again and what? And I'm just like, okay, let's, it's damaged or it's damaged or whatever, and cut it out. But it's almost like health. Okay, we all know this is what's healthy. We all know we should exercise this often. Whatever, but I don't think there's no policeman at my door, knock knock knock, you didn't do your cardio today. I feel like that's the same with hair. Like it's an individual thing. There's certain things that might be similar, but it's very much individualized. What got you to a place where you accepted your texture? Because I believe that's another aspect of our hair that is a little bit problematic, trying to make it do things that it's not necessarily naturally not able to do, but that it naturally wants to do.
Yep.
How did you get to this place where you're actually just rocking your hair?
And this is why I'm so grateful for YouTube, because honestly, it was being able to see other women who had my type of hair but longer and healthier, because at that time I was, relaxed and my hair was damaged. I didn't even know how to take care of it. I was abusing brushes. I was doing all the bad things that you could do to your hair. But there's something about, and I to be honest, in 2024, sometimes I don't understand why there is still such a difficulty with accepting our hair texture, because to me, there's now so much evidence. There's so much imagery that you can find on the internet of people who have our type of hair, where honestly it looks beautiful to me. It really does. Like, yes, if you have a looser curl and it's shiny and it looks like Goldilocks, it's beautiful, of course. But when I look at hair that looks almost like wool or like yarn, there's no shine to it, it almost looks like cotton. It looks like a fabric. Like it looks like a different type of material that looks like it shouldn't even grow out of your head. Like I can't even believe sometimes that it's hair. I have like an awe of it. Like I'm in awe of it. And sometimes this is going to sound a little bit crazy. Sometimes I think that we Black women should look at our hair the way that white people look at our hair. What I mean by that is I'm not talking about, you know, people who don't think our hair is great. When I'm around people who don't have my hair type, who are usually Caucasian, they're like, oh, wow, look at your hair. Wow, that's so amazing. Wow, it grows like that. Wow, can I touch it? Wow, so like they are in awe of it because it's different from what they have. They look at their hair like it's normal, it's basic, it's everybody has it. They look at our hair like it's so cool. Wow, it's so cool that your hair can be really big and then it can be really small and you can do all of these different things. We should have that same type of excitement and yes, pride in what we have. It instead of looking at it like it is less than another hair type, really learn to fall in love with the unique characteristics. Our hair type scientifically in the world is the most unique in the world. Why would you look at something that is the most unique as something that has to prove itself or something that is not special? That's because they've been brainwashing us for years and now we're trying to break out of it. But that honestly is how I was able to accept it, was finding a reverence for our hair type, looking at it, thinking about all the different things that it can do, even shrinkage, something that we all think is annoying. Shrinkage is crazy, but it is like magic. Like it makes no sense. There are times when I'm doing my hair and I'm like, are you serious? Like I will pull it and I'll just watch it bounce back. Like, really?
Where did you go?
Yeah, like it feels like it defies physics. So I've learned to look at my hair like a small child exploring something new and feeling excitement for all the things that it can do. And I have changed I think this is huge, I've changed my social media algorithm where I only follow women who look like they have my type of hair. And when you do that and you look at those images for years, I'm telling you, it will change your mindset because we're accustomed to looking at images of women who don't look like us that are, you know, being highlighted as beautiful, and they are. But when you look at women who have type 4 or 4C hair, whatever your type of hair is, and you bombard yourself with that kind of representation, it is very difficult for you to not realize how beautiful in all of its different shapes and sizes and colors it can be. Like I'm sometimes it makes me sad when I think about how long it took me, because I'm 34. I really started to get into my journey when I was 29, 30. And I just wish I could have realized what I know now as a teenager, as a child, even in my early 20s, because it would have changed my confidence level in myself. But it's okay. We all have our own journey. God gives us our different tests at different times. I'm hard-headed. I'm stubborn. I have to learn things the hard way sometimes. But now that I've come into this, I really hope that other people will learn from our mistakes and really just love this hair because it's so special. Like, it's so special.
Wow, such a different perspective to all these concepts about natural hair. I have thoroughly enjoyed this video. It's a video for you guys, but this conversation, I've learned heaps as well, because I mean, I knew certain concepts, but hearing it from your perspective sort of puts a new twist to it, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate your contribution in the natural hair community, and just thank you for coming to the channel and having this conversation. Until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.